This is where we meet the rest of whatever passes for characters in this show. There's a body-positive hologram with learning disabilities, a body-positive first officer who tries to act hard by yelling at people a lot, a body-positive science officer. Holy fuck, there's more congealed blubber in this show than a Reddit mods convention. There's a tough-talking, smart-ass girl boss, because clearly Star Trek needs more of them.
Girls get it done.
I love the moment where she easily breaks up a fist fight between two men twice her size. Here's a little tip for you ladies, if two grown men are going at it, then putting yourself between them is a very quick and efficient way to get knocked the fuck out. Anyway, there's also an arrogant white guy from a privileged background who's there to be arrogant and white, and a Klingon who's abandoned the warrior code to get in touch with his sensitive side because he enjoys bird watching.
What's up guys, today we are reviewing a video by The Critical Drinker. That's a YouTube channel that reviews Hollywood movies, and in this video he is reviewing Starfleet Academy. And right off the cuff, I'm just going to guess that Starfleet Academy is probably going to be a huge flop just like the rest of these productions. That's what I'm going to get into in my commentary, is why these studios are willingly producing flops over and over again when the people who are in charge of production are clearly far too intelligent to be unaware that they're producing flops. They know what they're doing. It's not an accident. So we're going to eliminate that idea entirely, and we're going to model a different reason why these people are knowingly producing Hollywood flops, such as Starfleet Academy. Let's get into the video.
Ever watch something so hilariously, outlandishly crap that you actually have to do a double take just to make sure it's not some sophisticated trolling op? Well, such was the case with the first episode of Starfleet Academy, which I'm roughly 200% sure will be my first and only experience of this show. Oh my days, I knew it was going to be bad, but even I didn't expect it to be this bad. Part of me even thought the trailers might be a clever little bait and switch, deliberately setting expectations lower than the Grand Canyon, only to pull off a sudden transition into serious, thoughtful, high-quality Star Trek adventure. Illogical! Illogical! Oh, drinker, you foolish optimist, you. Sometimes a spade really is just a spade, and sometimes a shitty Star Trek show really is just a shitty Star Trek show. And truly, they don't come much shittier than Starfleet Academy. The story is set like 1,000 years after the events of the original series, through a combination of contrived events from Star Trek Discovery that I absolutely don't have the time or the mental energy to talk about. The high-level view, though, is that an event called the Burn disabled warp travel throughout the galaxy, causing the Federation to collapse and leaving individual planets and star systems to fend for themselves. And if this all sounds a bit like the Age of Strife from Warhammer 40k, then congratulations, you now know just as much about writing as these fucking hacks. Anyway, things are finally getting back on track now, and the Federation is starting to rebuild itself with Starfleet leading the way. Only now there's basically two versions of Starfleet. Starfleet Academy, that's all about peaceful exploration and diplomacy like in the old days, and the War College, which is... well, I think you can figure that out for yourself. Anyway, the show centers around main character Caleb, who's a moody, rebellious hunk with a dark past but a heart of gold, who brings trouble with him everywhere he goes, but man, the ladies can't resist. He got separated from his mother 15 years earlier after they enlisted the help of Paul Giamatti to steal supplies and promptly got caught. Nice to see Tatiana Maslany getting out of her toll booth or wherever the fuck she's been for the past couple of years, because you won't be seeing her in Marvel movies again. Caleb is approached by Holly Hunter, who managed to fix her false teeth in place long enough to put his mum in prison 15 years earlier, with a sweet little offer. Join Starfleet Academy and she'll help him to find his mother again. Wait, what? You understand that Starfleet Academy is supposed to be reserved for the best of the best, right? The officer class, the cut above, the kind of people who command starships when they graduate. Why the fuck would they accept a convicted criminal with a long history of escape attempts and violent behaviour? And even if they did, surely he's just gonna bail the moment he finds his mother again, and all the time and resources put into training him would have been completely wasted. Ah, fuck it, why am I even asking these questions? Stuff like this can be filed away neatly into the "we need the rest of the plot to happen" drawer. So the cadets are put aboard the USS Athena for the trip back to Starfleet Academy on Earth to begin their training. Wait, what? I mean, I know it's kind of a waste of time to ask questions like this, but seriously, isn't this completely ass backwards? Aren't you supposed to do your training at Starfleet Academy, then graduate to starships so you can apply what you've learned in a practical environment? Why does the inside of the Athena look like an impossibly massive cruise ship instead of a starship? Am I like taking crazy pills or something?
Don't ask questions.
Fuck it, it's Kurtzman Trek. This show is to logic and common sense what Kathleen Kennedy is to self-reflection and personal accountability.
I think that the real purpose of generating movies these days is mainly social engineering. It's to condition the population to think a certain way. And when you do that, you don't need the consent of the audience. If it's the only cultural option that's in the media over and over again, you'll simply overwhelm them with brute force. So I think that that is the very first and foremost reason why these guys are producing flops, because they know what they're doing. These guys didn't just stop producing successful movies out of the blue. They didn't just lobotomize their brains and lose the part of their brain that understands the pattern recognition required to produce a killer movie that crushes it at the box office. So we can eliminate sort of negligence right away, and we'll move into modeling more of like fraudulent behavior. I think that what we are seeing is compliance signaling by the people who fund these movies and the entire industry itself. These are like rituals of allegiance. They are like Maoist struggle sessions. So not only are they signaling compliance, but they're prostrating themselves before those who they know are really in control of the system. I believe that the people in power will never stop attempting to push us into a central bank digital currency and a social credit system. People's money will be programmed to only allow them to consume certain media in the first place. That's my take on this situation, and it resolves the paradox of absurdity here, where we keep scratching our heads and saying, well, I know these people know how to make successful movies, so why do they continue to make these flops? It just doesn't make any sense. If you model it the way I just described, it actually makes perfect sense. More than that, it's one of the few pathways that you would expect to see under these Darwinian conditions.
Also, why does Holly Hunter sit in her captain's chair like a fucking polio victim? Does she know that this is a starship bridge instead of a quaint coffee shop in Portland? Why is Paul Giamatti able to force her to sit down when he's a fucking hologram with no physical presence? Why does Holly Hunter use reading glasses when Retinax 5's been available for like 1,000 years by this point?
Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Oh, Star Trek, my old friend, what have they done to you? You know, I remember when Star Trek was a serious show made by serious people with a passion for science and technology and a desire to broaden human horizons. How times have changed. After the indignities of Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds, I honestly thought we'd seen an end of the brain-dead, cringe-inducing, hyper-identity politics-driven garbage wearing the Star Trek brand like a skin suit, but apparently not. Is this like some kind of humiliation ritual at this point? Do they hate their own franchise? I ask because I'm genuinely trying to come up with a plausible explanation for this utter bilge. The chirpy, quippy Joss Whedon dialogue that undercuts every moment with even a hint of drama, the body-positive officers whose only natural enemies are treadmills, the blandly amiable characters played by soft charisma vacuum actors who tick every diversity box possible, the soulless, empty sets that somehow manage to look garishly bright and depressingly dim at the same time. All of the tedious tropes of modern Star Trek are dialed up to 11 and shoved into this turd of a show. And the question I keep asking myself is, why? What are you hoping to achieve with this thing, Paramount? Who are you even trying to appeal to? I mean, it must be obvious even to you that this whole new Trek thing just isn't working, and it hasn't worked for like 5 years now. You're like a gambler that's lost everything and owes a small fortune to a loan shark that's got leg breakers on speed dial, convinced he can somehow turn it all around with one more spin of the wheel. Well, you can't, and the viewing figures reflect that. The first episode was released for free on YouTube, and even then, it was beaten in live viewers by a plastic action figure sitting in a chair. That's my boy, Gary. Shit, man, even now it's only got like 150,000 views in 4 days. This video's gonna get more than that in 4 hours. That's not just bad, that's fucking catastrophic. The comments section is pure gold though. So this is a little plea from me to you, Paramount. Do yourselves a favour and please, just stop. Stop making Star Trek shows. You're not helping anyone, and you're not going to make any money from them, that's for sure. You've already run the brand right into the ground and salted the earth, and now it is dead, Jim. It's dead in a way that no brand can ever hope to come back from. It's been a good run, but Star Trek is officially over. It's time to let it rest in peace.
Maybe 6 months ago, I was up in Maine and I was catching up with an old friend, and she and I went to go see 28 Years Later. We loved 28 Days Later. We're both fans of Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, but we left the movie just kind of being like, all right, well, I'm not sure if that was okay. It wasn't awful, but it was just kind of weird. We were wondering if Danny Boyle still directed it, and I left into it, and that started a conversation with ChatGPT. I go, tell me what you think about this. The whole point is actually just some social engineering because money doesn't matter anymore. The dollar is going to crash. They're going to introduce central bank digital currencies, and the whole purpose is actually just like a struggle session in communist China where these companies have to prove their loyalty to the new ruling order. What do you think about that? Now, ChatGPT is a predictive encoder, so its job is to basically blow smoke up your ass and tell you what you want to hear in the first place. However, regardless of that condition, I found that the model it produced during this conversation actually had a higher level of predictive fidelity than any of the other models that people were presenting, such as Drinker, because there was no surprise anymore. With this model, everything makes sense. With Drinker's reviews and with Nerdrotic's reviews, it's like every time you're just like, whoa, that's crazy. These guys made another flop. It's wild that they keep doing this. But with this model, it's not wild. It's like, now this is exactly what you would expect. If you're interested, leave a comment below and I will put a link in the description and you can look at a short transcript of the model that evolved from this conversation with ChatGPT. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider hitting the like, share, and subscribe buttons and helping this channel grow.